Hello beautiful people, it's Mai from Nintendo Life. Today we're reviewing Fire Emblem Path of Radiance on the GameCube, which is now available on Switch 2 via Nintendo Switch Online. This review was written by the wonderful PJ O'Reilly and adapted into video by Alex and me. Now without further ado, let's get stuck in. Did you know that the Japanese version of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance has a Maniac difficulty mode? You did? And did you know that this mode sort of fixes our biggest problem with the game? You did? Can I do the review anyway? Thanks. Jumping back into Path of Radiance for the first time since all the way back at Christmas 2005, PJ's one complaint from 20 years ago remains an issue. It's all a little bit too easy. Most especially if you're a big fan who's been hoovering up the newer stuff and becoming a strategy master in the meantime. Veterans may even find the toughest of the three available difficulty options, appropriately titled difficult, too sedate for their tastes. But let's park that one specific point for a moment, because as important as it may be, it doesn't manage to derail what's still a fantastic slice of vintage Fire Emblem goodness. Path of Radiance tells one of the series' strongest stories, you see. In fact, it's a story so strong that regardless of how the combat may have aged over 2 decades, no matter how much sharper, more detailed and intricate the newer games are, this one still delivers a lot to love. Path of Radiance is one of the 2 FE games set on the continent of Teleus, with the other being its immediate follow-up on Wii, Radiant Dawn. So upon locking into this one, you're all set for a double-header of epic proportions to disappear into, which, let's face it, is exactly what everyone could be doing with right now. Taking control of Ike, a member of the Grail's mercenaries, your job in Teleus as you join the action is to defend the borders of Chimera, a region of humans, against attacks and incursions from neighbouring Gallia, which is full of monsters, because of course it is. Before long, things go quite spectacularly south, with the Chimeran capital falling to invaders, and Ike and company spiralling into an arduous journey of revenge and justice-seeking. That's where we come in. I won't detail anything further in terms of the story, but it's fairly clear that as the first Fire Emblem to feature voice acting, they went all in. And as a result, we get a banging narrative to jump into alongside battles that, whilst absolutely a little slow and cumbersome looking back from further down the series line, still provide the goods that series stalwarts thirst for. This is, after all, an entry that consistently ranks highly in best-of lists. And once you dig in, regardless of all the time that's passed, you'll find it sinks its hooks in fast. It's one of those timeless, classic numbers you hear old people banging on about. Furthermore, and it's an important detail in the grand scheme of things, once you've played through this wondrous thing, you're all set up, fully locked and loaded to dive into Radiant Dawn, which is another cracker, though one which is unfortunately exclusive to Wii at the time of this video. So you've got a great story here, one that will likely lead you into playing the next part. It still looks and plays really nicely, and the combat, even when a Fire Emblem game has got a little long in the tooth, that core turn-based strategy goodness sings. The face-offs here stick to the series formula of a rock, paper, scissors, weapons triangle at the heart of the action. So axes over lances, swords over axes, lances over swords. You know the score. Path of Radiance then adds slick 3D battle sequence to the action. Okay, so they were slicker back in 2005, but luckily you can turn off these extended animations for clashes, making for quicker fights all around. Indeed, once you switch these off, it's hard to tell the game is really that old at all, given how great the text menu avatars and scenery all look. Even the rumble support is on point. Path of Radiance also brings Legu's enemies to the table, transforming lycanthropic foes who will shapeshift throughout battles into other forms such as birds or even dragons. It makes for encounters which feel elevated from the run-of-the-mill stuff of the time. They still feel strategically whip-smart, and are then further enhanced by a cool bonus XP system that rewards efficiency, in turn pushing you to up your game and engage with all of your options. And, of course, permadeath. Oh, sweet permadeath, how you infuse everything with a touch more excitement and meaning. And tears. And really, excitement and meaning and tears are what you're getting. Over the course of 40-ish hours, this one still has the power to razzle-dazzle with its magical melding of strategy and story that adds drama where it needs it, while also introducing a plethora of entertaining friends and foes. It might not be the latest or greatest Fire Emblem then, but Path of Radiance is certainly well up there. And now that we've got it so easily to hand via NSO and Switch 2, it's really hard to criticize its gentle aging all that harshly. Get over the fact it's not quite as feature complete as your Engages or your Three Houses, and you'll soon find yourself all wrapped up in an adventure that sucked us in all over again. Now, if we can find a copy of Radiant Dawn for less than the price of a holiday, then we're all set. So in conclusion, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance still has the power to pleasantly surprise, bringing strategically satisfying battles in a signature series style, alongside a story that packs in plenty of fun characters and big moments across its running time. Yes, it's aged a bit, the 3D battle cutaways are a bit naff 2 decades on, and it's not as swish as the newer entries, but that's all to be expected. Look past a little dust and time-weathered rough edges, and there's a wonderful time to be had here that leads you right into an equally excellent sequel. We here at Nintendo Life give Fire Emblem Path of Radiance on the Nintendo GameCube an 8 out of 10.